have a genuine controversial question. Why do we tip servers who get paid minimum wage in California? Because the original argument for tipping servers is because they're not getting paid enough since the owners aren't paying them, so we as the customers are paying for their livable wage. But in California, minimum wage is required. So now that all these servers and fast food workers and retail workers are all getting paid the same wage, but for some reason tipping culture is only prevalent in serving, that's where I'm confused.
We need to do something about the fact that every fucking where you go to eat now, the cheapest place you go to eat now, even fast food places, it's $23. Why is it always fucking $23?
How can we afford to go out and eat at this rate? I went to Joey's last weekend and I had dinner with my friend. I haven't seen her in a while and I don't go out to dinner that often. I ordered this tuna burger, which sounded divine. I was so excited to try it. I substituted a garden salad instead of fries because I wanted something a little bit lighter. Got the burger. It's a big burger. It was delicious. The salad was honestly so mid. I could have done without the salad, but I got my bill and I could not believe how much I had dropped for a burger and a salad. I spent $41 with tip on my burger with a salad. And I did not order a drink. I told my roommate and she's like, "Did you order a drink?" I said, "No. I got a tuna burger and a salad." And it's because the tuna burger was $29. And then to substitute a garden salad was $4 extra. And then I tipped her 20%, I think, because she was so nice and I really liked her and she was very genuine and down to earth. I think you should tip your servers. But at this rate, I'm not going to be able to afford to tip or be able to afford to go out to eat if I'm spending $40 for a simple burger and a salad. Like, that's actually insane. And it's not even a fine dining restaurant.
We all know food costs are a problem and that they keep rising month after month, year after year for your basic necessities when it comes to food. But that's also leaking into the restaurant industry, leaking into the takeout industry, leaking into dining, leaking into fast food, into all aspects of everyday life, whether it be eating at home or eating out. Food prices are going up and customers keep asking why.
This restaurant's under fire because of an added entertainment fee. But if you don't know me, I'm Jay and I talk all things business. A customer, after leaving the restaurant, noticed that they were charged a 2 live band entertainment fee. So he was charged $10 per person for a band fee. The customer felt slighted because 1, he wasn't told about this fee, and 2, he had never heard about this type of fee from a restaurant. Cats responded to these comments on their Instagram page saying that they will add this fee to help enhance the customer's experience. As a business owner myself, I understand how charges can add, but I think the best way to implement this is not to fee because that just upsets people. I think they would have greater time just adding $2 extra to each of the menu items, and 1, they would definitely make up the price of the entertainment fee, and 2, people wouldn't be upset by seeing a fee on their receipt.
Where is the craziest place you've seen asking for tips? Like, what is the craziest business that you've come across that have asked you to tip? Because, like, I think tipping culture is getting so nuts. It's getting way out of control. These corporations are so greedy that they're wanting us to supplement their workers so that they can take home more money at the end of the day, which is BS. And I've seen comments online of people being like, I went to go get my tires rotated and there was a tip option at the end of it. Like, what? So I'm just curious, like, what is the craziest business that you've seen asking for a tip?
I'm going to hit no tip every time. If I'm at Starbucks, Buffalo Wild Wings, or a place that you really not serving me, and you turn that little iPad around and says it's going to ask you a little question, I'm going to look you dead in your face, and I'm going to click no tip.
I don't want battered and fried buffalo cauliflower at a restaurant that charges $45 per person. I don't want fried cauliflower. I want tofu. I want protein. If you're serving marinated and blackened and sauteed and chimichurri animal proteins, what is your excuse? Don't even get me started on serving falafel as the only vegetarian main. Your falafel is dry. And your cauliflower breading is so soggy. Do better.
I think we can all agree that eating at a restaurant has become like ridiculously priced in the past few years. We cook at home most of the times, but like, you know, we like to go out like once or twice a week. And I honestly feel like we cannot, me and my husband, cannot go out to lunch or dinner without spending $50+ and we don't even drink. A couple months ago now, like, me and my husband kind of just looked at each other after going to, like, a moderately priced restaurant and being like, that, like, was not worth it. And we kind of just decided then and there that we were either going to go, like, the fast casual chain restaurant route or go to a really nice restaurant where we knew that we were going to get a great meal and it'd be worth what we were paying for. This has kind of helped with that balance of, like, sometimes we don't want to cook. Sometimes we want, like, a great experience. But, like, we weren't getting that, like, value out of going to the mediocre restaurant and it being, like, worth our money. So if you kind of feel like how we do, I don't know, this might be something to help your budget or just kind of, like, help your sanity in these times where, like, you can't get a reasonably priced meal at a restaurant.
So when you hear people always talking about, well, y'all just don't work hard enough and y'all just spend too much money. And then, you know what? They say, okay, let me work harder. You get a better job. You go out and get a degree. You move up in your company. You start making even more money. And the one time you want to show yourself or, someone, a friend, a family member's birthday, the first time you want to show you or anybody else some sort of appreciation by taking them out to dinner, it costs an arm and a leg. And it should not be like that. If you relate to this, go ahead and subscribe because I make videos like this every single day. But it's not just the food industry that is taking people's, dignity. It's rent.
Talk. Y'all, we really are the new adults. We really are the new adults paying our own bills. And I'm saying this to say, rent is so high, y'all. Rent is so expensive. And sometimes I be questioning, like, as adults, how do we do it? Like, how do we do it? We just be making it happen. I remember growing up, 1-bedroom rooms were like $500 to $600. Now where I stay, the 1-bedrooms, they're over $1,300. Not on top of that, you got rent, you got lights, you got water, you got cable, you got groceries. If you got an emergency, you got life insurance. Yeah. I was ready to be grown so bad. Not only that, I'm just a girl. So I got hair maintenance, get my hair done, lashes done, makeup done, toes done, and whatever else I need done. Get my feminine hygiene products. Yeah.
I've been seeing a ton of videos of people giving their opinions about what we should be tipping servers, and I have an opinion. I always have an opinion. And I think that some people might not agree with it, but I'm gonna give it anyway. And I was a waitress, so my opinion has merit. I wasn't very good. If you've never been a server before, it's hard. It's a really hard job. I don't think that you always should be tipping 20%. Sometimes you can get away with tipping less. Sometimes you should be tipping more. I think the biggest factor that contributes to how much you should tip is how long were you there. In most cases, 20% is right, but not always. If you want to hear about the bane of my existence when I was a waitress, it's the fact that we had a really nice patio. And people would like to just go get a spot on the patio and order drinks. That's fine. Totally fine. What's not fine is when you're there for hours on end. There was one time that these two ladies came in, they sat in my section on the patio for my entire shift. Now, if you know how it works being a server, you have a specific section and those are the only tables that you're going to work that day. So the faster you get people in and out, the more people you see, the more tips you get. So if somebody is taking up one of your tables for the entire day, you can't see anybody else, you can't get any more tips. We didn't have any kind of policy for how long people could stay, so as long as the restaurant was open, they could stay. They both ordered 2 drinks the entire time, and they tipped me 20% on those 2 drinks. Absolutely not! No! Jail. That's actually absurd. Maybe people who have never been servers don't get it, but if you were gonna take up a server's table for their entire shift for hours on end, you need to tip way more than 20%. First of all, don't do that. If you're going to do that, go to a place where you order up at a bar, not where somebody's serving you, because you're actually ruining their workday. But if you do want to do that and you really want to be at this specific restaurant, you need to make up for it. You got to make up for the fact you're taking up that table in your tip. You can't just tip 20%. But on the other hand, I would have businessmen come in for lunch. They would know exactly what they wanted. They would order a expensive steak and they'd be in and out in 30 minutes. I don't expect them to tip me 20% on that steak. Don't get me wrong, it was so appreciated when they did, but I would have to go over to the table 3 or 4 times max, and the amount they would tip me to give 20% was not proportionate to the amount of service that I gave them. In most cases, 20% is fair in what you should be tipping, but you need to think about the context that you're in. You want to go out to eat, factor in your tip, because nothing is more of an ick than a bad tipper. Nothing. A man took me out to dinner once, and he put cash down for the tip, and I saw how much he put down, and I was like, yeah, we're never going on a second date, because it's just inconsiderate. It's tacky. I put down cash. Like, I put down more than he actually put down on the tip. That's how bad his tip was. Think, people. Use your context clues. It's not that hard.
And the crazy thing is, the jobs don't even pay 3 times the rent. So why is the apartments requiring me to make 3 times the rent? As long as the rent get paid, that should be all that matters.
As long as there's a rise in prices, there will be a rise in people finding other ways to survive. Some people are going without food. They're cutting food to a minimum. You know, maybe I've been seeing videos on YouTube about people spreading $30 for a whole family for a week of food. They're getting lentils for protein and just rice and white bread. And I mean, while yes, it works, you shouldn't have to eat like that every single day. You shouldn't have to eat rice, bread, and lentils just to survive, because everything is too expensive. And people are also finding other ways to save money when it comes to housing, like we've talked about plenty of times on this video. People moving back in with parents, storage units, homelessness, camps, RVs, and what I do personally, cars. I don't spend money on rent, I don't spend money on electricity. I'm moving to Vietnam. I'm leaving on June 19th. I already got my passport, ticket, all of that situated. But here's an example of people choosing to do that.
I know this is horrible timing right now. I'm the guy who lives in his car in America because the cost of living is too expensive. I don't believe in paying for rent or trying to get a house. It's ridiculous. But I encourage you guys, if you have a car, to just convert it so you can live in it and just like travel around America. You know, the national parks, everything. If you've seen my videos and if I've inspired you to start your car living journey, because I know some of you guys have. Some of you guys have already started, you know, traveling and living in your car. But if you haven't bought a generator yet, the power station that I use is the EcoFlow River 2 Pro. There's a lot of words, but it's on the TikTok shop right now for like 45% off. When I first got it, it was $600, and right now it's $350. And I know that sounds steep, but it's your entire like life. It is how I power everything in my car, my kettle, charging my phones, my electric kettle, an electric blanket if I wanted to use it, but everything you need, your source of power, your electricity. It's on sale right now. I might even buy a second one. That's how tempted I am to get another one, since it's so cheap right now. I don't need to, but like, it's so cheap and essential. Even if you're not going to live in your car, like any natural disaster locations where your power might come out, like this device, it's a big giant power station. It's essential, even for your houses. I highly suggest checking it out since it's super cheap right now, especially with the $50 off coupon. Keep in mind, this is a great investment because you're not going to be paying for electricity. You will be renewing your electricity and power source for free every single month with this device. You won't have, you know, a monthly electricity bill. I don't even know how much you guys pay for houses and apartments for electricity, but once you buy this power station, it could recharge through your car inverter. So every time you drive, it'll be constantly recharging your power station, so you have infinite power. You could also use solar panels to recharge it, and the cool thing about this newer technology power station is that it fast charges through a wall outlet in 1 hour. The older models, you would have to wait like 6 to 12 hours for it to fully charge. So that's why I recommend getting power stations from this year, and that's the one I used, the EcoFlow, and I highly recommend it.
Let's take a look at this receipt I got yesterday. So $5.66 plus 0 for service charge plus 34 cents equals 6, and my total is somehow $7.20. There's no gratuity or whatever. So I got 2 fountain drinks. The girl goes, your total $6. I hand her my credit card. She walks off to the side to swipe it, and I can see the screen and it says $7.20, and I'm like, that's kind of weird. Like, that seems like a lot for like tax or something. And she goes, do you want a receipt? I said, yeah. So I grab my receipt, and then I go to the bathroom. I add that up to make sure it does equal 6, and then I'm not just stupid, which it does. And then I also realized that $1.20, which is what I was overcharged, is 20%. So then I go back, I ask her, was there a tip added to this? And she said, no, there's a 20% service fee on credit cards. Service charge, $0. So then I'm like, oh, like, that would have been nice to know before I handed you my credit card, because I would have rather just paid in cash and saved my $1.20 for a credit card fee, but like, question mark. And she goes, okay, this is what gets me. Okay, do you want me to refund the tip? And I'm like, you just told me it wasn't a tip. Anyway, so I say, yeah. She gets her little cash drawer and ends up giving me $2 because she didn't have change, but that just tells me she's guilty, because why would you give me 80 extra cents if you're not wrong? So either I think she accidentally hit the 20% tip button or tried to pull a fast one on me, because it was one of the little machines that like spins around, but she like had to go off to the side, so I wasn't over there to like do anything. And I also didn't get a receipt to sign anything until I asked for it. So this makes me hate tipping, which I already hate tipping unless I'm like at a sit down restaurant. But like, am I wrong? Am I stupid? Okay, that's all. Bye.
It's unfair when someone chooses a really expensive restaurant for a birthday dinner, and it's causing this disagreement with a friend right now, where for his birthday he chose a restaurant and the cheapest entree is $41, and so I didn't go, and now he's mad at me. The reason I decided not to go is because the plan was dinner and then going out, and the place he chose to go out already had a $35 ticket, and I am a little bit broke as it is, so I was like, okay, I'll skip the dinner and then just go out. I thought that was a good compromise because I would still be seeing him on his birthday, and the dinner just wasn't appealing to me. Like, the item I would actually get on the menu was $47, because the $41 item was a burger, just like the burger and the patty, and it was like, I had fries for $11, and you know, at a fine dining restaurant, a burger is just gonna be like 3 bites.
My child asked me why we tip in America and we don't in other countries, and so I responded by saying, do you want the short answer or the long answer? Because that's usually what I say. And they responded both, because that's usually what they say. So I said, short answer is slavery and the result thereof. And they were like, can you explain longer? And I go, yes. Imagine if you have a bunch of enslaved people and you treat them very cruelly. One of the things that enslaved and oppressed people will have to do as a survival tactic is to be polite to their masters, especially in the house, especially in things that are service oriented. Now imagine you had to free all of those enslaved people, but you didn't really want to free them and you wanted to make sure you maintain the status quo. Would you institute a system in which you paid them a fair, livable wage and just expected them to behave like decent human beings? You cannot do that, because you, in your human beingness, have oppressed people with cruelty and with enslavement. And so therefore you would then institute a system in which any kind of service industry, any kind of service occupation would not be paid simply for the doing of that job with the human expectation of kindness. Instead, what you would make sure is to have a system in which they have to be polite to you in order to have a livable wage, and that you as the oppressor could have control over that by justifying their wage with a tip that would be dependent on how polite they were to you, so that these formerly enslaved people or future enslaved people will have to be polite to you. And they thought about that and they were like, that makes a lot of sense and is also terrible and not fair. And I said, yes, I think most other countries have figured that out by now, and hopefully America will catch up.
So as much as we talk about everything else going up, like housing, insurance, and whatever else, vehicles, transportation, gas, even though gas has gone down in most places, still, when everything else is getting so expensive, we're just talking about fixed expenses. Imagine every month, on top of your fixed expenses that keep going up, you have to buy increasing food. You have to buy increasing prices in consumables, like soap and all of that. And then when you try to go out and say, you know what, I've been cooking for 2 weeks straight, let me try to go out and eat, you spend $30 on a burger. You spend $41 on a burger and a salad. People everywhere are feeling this financial pressure and trying to find a way out. If you want to also find that way out, make sure you go ahead and subscribe, because I'm leaving on June 19th and I will be documenting that life abroad, financial free life, on another channel. But go ahead and subscribe. That way y'all know as soon as I start doing that, as well as watch these videos, because I make these videos, once again, every single day. But with all that being said, remember, no matter what happens, as long as you're alive, life goes on.